Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about what if Deku was a werewolf slash vampire. So in the last video Deku, apparently Izuku started going to his heroes class where he got in his hero costume and also finished the hero versus villain battle where Izuku's paired up with Bakugo. While they're doing that, they were tasked to being they were being the villain this time. So Izuku pretty much did it pretty easily. So yeah. So when they started going to the USJ, they were attacked by the League of Villains, but Izuku basically saved both Froppy and Bakugo. But Izuku saw Aizawa being attacked by the Nomu, and Izuku took it out pretty easily. But the League of Villains basically escaped. So yeah, so after that they started going back to school, and I meant not going back to school. They were preparing for going to well the UA dorms because that is where they're going to be living from now on. So let's talk about what happens next. So Izuku starts bringing all his stuff, including Baku's stuff, into his newly created van. As Baku says, "Do you have everything?" And Izuku says, "Yep, got everything." As Izuku says, "All right, you can come in now." As she says, "Whoa, this seat feels really nice, Izuku." Izuku says, "Why, thank you. After all, my magic is pretty much, how do I say it? Superior than your quirks." As she says, "Okay, whatever." So, while they're basically driving on the road, they see, something. But Izuku just ignored it. So, when they made it to the UA dorms, they see the rest of his classmates. As they say, "Whoa, hello Izuku. I didn't know that you're actually gonna be going to living here in the UA dorms." Izuku says, "Yeah, I actually wanted to well wanted to have some friends at least." As they say, "Oh really?" As one of them being Mina says, "So Izuku, I wanted to ask. So do you have any spare toothbrushes?" As Izuku says, "Why?" As she says, "Oh, I forgot mine." Izuku says, "Maybe buy your own, maybe next time." As she says, "Oh, damn it." So, when they started going into the room, Izuku started decorating his room with all of his stuff. As Izuku starts helping Bako with her stuff. So, when they finished up their rooms, they started going outside, where they're basically partying a little bit. Izuku is basically sitting in the corner with Bako. As Bako says, "Hey Izuku, I think it's your dinner time." And Izuku says, "Oh, yeah." As she starts taking off her collar, as she starts putting up her her neck out, Izuku bares his fangs as he starts bear in putting his sharp fangs into the into Bakugo's neck as Izuku starts sucking up some of the blood. And she says, "I think that's enough, Izuku." As Izuku says, "Oh, okay, sorry about that." As she says, "Hmm, okay." So, when they started going back to sleep, they started preparing for the the whole sports festival because Aizawa told them during their party. So, wait for a second. So, when they started preparing for the sports festival, Izuku is basically training with Bakugo. As she says, "Hey Izuku, I wanted to ask." Izuku says, "What is it, Bakugo?" As she says, "Well, I've been wondering, can you turn people into vampires and shit like that?" Izuku says, "Yeah, only royal vampires can do that. But fortunately for me, I am a royal vampire myself." Or at least part. royal vampire. As she says, really? As Izuku says, yeah, but normal vampires, well, they can't make, well, more vampires. If they do that, they just become thralls. But us royal vampires can also create thralls, but regular thralls made by regular old vampires are, well, just zombies. But thralls that are made by royal vampires, they're basically just like, well, mindless vampires. I can just tell you that. As she says, oh, okay. As she says, so, Izuku. Izuku says, what is it? She says, well, if I were to turn into, if I were to, for say, die, Izuku says, why? Why you want to think about that? As she says, well, if I were to die, can you at least turn me into a vampire so I can still be alive? Izuku says, sure, just make sure not to die. And she says, oh, okay. So yeah, after that little conversation, they started going back to training. So days have gone by as it's the day of the sports festival. Everybody started wearing their, well, whole uniform thing as they started, well, going into, well, the arena where they're going to be, how do I say it, oh yeah, doing the speech. So Baku was, well, picked to do the speech as instead of, being prideful, she's, well, more, how do I say it, more polite. So she basically inspired everybody to do their best as they basically started screaming out Bakugo's name. So yeah, so Izuku was, getting ready for, the first event, which was called the obstacle race. So Izuku starts transforming into his more bestial form as Izuku says, "Hey Bakugo, right on." As she says, "Hey Izuku, does it actually hurt every time when I, go on top of you?" As Izuku says, "No, not really." And she says, "Oh, okay." So she starts going on top of Izuku. As Midnight says, "Three, two, one, go." Izuku starts zipping off. Well, zipping all the way to, the front. So Todoroki is starting to, try to catch up to Izuku, but he was too slow. So yeah, so the first obstacle is, the whole cliff thing, but Izuku just jumps or at least flies over it. As they see, the zero pointers, which was the second obstacle, they started shooting out, freaking missiles. So Izuku says, "Hey, use my sword." She says, "Really?" Izuku says, "Yeah, just think of something like, for say, a slash, and keep thinking about that, and it will manifest." As she basically starts thinking of, a large black, slash. As she basically swings the sword, as this black, slash basically destroys one of the missiles. As she says, "Whoa, I did it!" As Izuku says, "Right." So they made it to the minefield, but Izuku just flies over it as they go into, first place. But in this case, Bakugo gets first place and Izuku gets second place. So yeah. So wait for a second. So the next one was the cavalry battle, which everybody's looking at Bakugo. As Izuku says, "Hey Bakugo, can I join your team?" As she says, um, "Sure, Izuku." So Izuku was, picked as Izuku. I meant, Bakugo's team, but also some other people joined, which was, let me think. So Tetsu and, Kendo joined Izuku's and Bakugo's team. So when everybody started getting ready, Midnight says 3 to 1 go as everybody's getting ready to target Bakugo. But Izuku, tells Kendo to create her, well, gigantic ass arms as she blocks everybody, including some that are pretty powerful like Todoroki. So, Izuku tells, well, Tetsu Tetsu to start using her, well, I meant his, well, hardening quirk to basically block some other attacks. So, he starts using his, well, hardened quirk to basically, stop some other attacks, like, for example, a person with a bullet quirk or something like that. So, Bakugo starts using her explosion quirks to basically, well, deflect more attacks. As Izuku says, yes, it's my turn. So, he starts creating, well, earth walls as it basically covers them up, basically protecting them for a while. So, when they're, well, waiting for a while for, well, the whole match to finish, well, Midnight said, "Alright, time's up," as everybody starts, well, going off because, well, some of them already lost. So, Izuku already, well, won because, because of the whole earth wall. So they started going into, well, the next event, which was called the, well the one-on-one battle. So yeah, wait for a second. So Izuku was, well, getting ready to fight with, well, Shinso. So when Izuku comes up to, well, the arena, he sees Shinso, and Izuku thinks in his mind, oh wait, I remember. Apparently his quirk was something about, well, mind controlling. So Izuku basically doesn't talk in this match. So when Midnight says 3, 2, 1, go, well, Shinso was basically, well, talking bullshit about class 1A. Izuku just, well, doesn't talk as, well, until the when, well, Shinzo starts talking about bullshit about, well, Bakugo as Izuku becomes enraged. As Izuku basically comes up to, well, Shinzo, as Izuku grabs him by the neck. And Izuku says, "If you dare try insult Bakugo ever again, I will kill you." As Izuku basically, well, throws him off of the, well, the arena, crashing him, or at least, well, throwing him against the wall and basically creating a massive crater. So yeah, everybody's terrified of Izuku because of that. Some of the girls are basically, well, telling Bakugo that you have, like, some sort of, well, white knight protecting you. As she says, no, it's nothing like that. But Izuku does have a crush on, well, Bakugo. To the point that he's maybe a yandere, I guess. I guess, yeah, he's completely a yandere. So, yeah. So, the next match comes up, and it's between Izuku and Todoroki. So, yeah. So, when Izuku comes up to, well, the arena, Izuku sees Todoroki, as Todoroki says, "I'm gonna win, Izuku." Izuku says, sure. So, when Midnight says 3, 2, 1, go, well, Todoroki starts using, well, tons and tons of ice, but Izuku starts using his blade as it slices literally the ice in half. Basically cleaned off like shaved ice. Izuku says, "Seriously, that's all you got?" As he starts becoming mad. He starts using more ice and more ice, but Izuku just keeps slicing it apart. As he starts making more ice and more, but it still doesn't work. As he starts becoming much more enraged. But Izuku, well, gets too distracted as he throws an ice at his, well, in his chest. But everybody's basically in shock as, well, well, some of the people there in, like, the, well, basically the spectators are basically in shock as they see Izuku basically has a shard of ice in his chest as it pierces, well, into the back of him, as everybody's saying, "Todoroki, what have you done?" As Todoroki says, I didn't mean it. As Izuku says, don't worry. Besides, it doesn't really hurt. Izuku grabs the ice and basically pulls it out of his chest. And Izuku says, great, now you ruined it. Now his, showing, the insides of him as it starts growing back. Well, some of it. Now it's it has a scar in his chest where the, eye shard is. So, well, Todoroki says, how? Izuku says, what? You really think that I can ever die? He's thanks to my so-called quirk. Actually, Izuku doesn't say so-called because, he doesn't want to be found out that he's actually a vampire. As Izuku says, alright, time for me to have some fun. As Izuku brings out his, tail, as Izuku says, take this! As Izuku starts jumping around, as Izuku slaps, Todoroki right in the face with his tail, causing him to go, face first into the, floor of the arena. And Izuku says, that's what you get for trying to ruin my clothes. As he says, dang it. As Izuku says, sorry mate, but you'll lose. Izuku kicks him right out of the arena, causing, a gigantic crater into the wall. As, Endeavor is in shock. As Endeavor thinks his mind, interesting. If he were to be, joining my internship, yes. He thinks in his mind that he should be in his internship. As Izuku says, pretty easy. So, yeah. So, this is going to be the end of the video because, I'm gonna be planning for, the, another episode of What If Deku Had the Yu-Gi-Oh quirk. So, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!